Last week, the S&P 500 dropped 2.4%, the Nasdaq lost 2.2%, and the Dow Jones declined 2.9%. U.S. stock indices posted their worst weekly performance in over 2 months after lower-than-expected non-farm payrolls. Data raised fears of a slowing economy. On Wednesday, the Fed kept rates unchanged. President Trump's August 1st trade deadline passed with countries absorbing increased tariff rates. But some countries, including Canada and Mexico, are continuing trade talks with the U.S. The U.S. and China ended trade talks amid expectations that the U.S. would grant another extension for further negotiations. However, it was a successful earnings week with Apple, Amazon, and Meta all beating expectations. Crude oil prices rose to a 1-month peak, but natural gas prices declined. Gold prices hit a 1-month low, but still managed to finish higher on rate cut hopes. Silver declined to a 3-week low. Platinum and palladium prices traded close to 1-month lows after weaker data from China. On August 3rd, OPEC Plus decided to raise oil production by 547,000 barrels per day, as expected from September. The major focus this week will be the U.S. deadline to Russia on agreeing to a ceasefire with Ukraine by August 8th. The U.S. has stated it could impose oil sanctions or tariffs on both Russia and other countries importing Russian commodities if no progress towards peace is made. Global services data on Tuesday and Thursday's initial jobless claims data will be among the economic highlights of the week. The earnings season continues with Palantir and AMD posting their results on August 4th and August 5th, respectively. Walmart's price increased 1.22%, posting a 3-week peak midweek. The retailer is seen as better placed than its peers at absorbing U.S. import tariffs, and positive trade news has benefited the stock price in recent days. J.P. Morgan recently upgraded its price target while pointing to the company's gains in market share among better-off consumers and its growing revenue streams in advertising. So far this year, the retailer has also invested more heavily in AI and automation, boosting its reputation among traders. Walmart will declare its earnings on August 21st. eBay's stock price skyrocketed 13.26% to record its best weekly performance in years as the stock traded close to an all-time high. The move higher followed blowout earnings results and a highly positive outlook posted on July 1st, which caused optimism among analysts that the company could return to the growth last seen in the previous decade. As import tariffs negatively impacted new goods, demand has increased for second-hand markets like eBay, with the company actually benefiting from trade tensions. Crude oil prices rose 3% and posted a more than 1-month high after President Trump confirmed that Russia faced a 10-day deadline ending on August 8th, by which time the country must make progress towards a ceasefire with Ukraine. The U.S. announced a tariff on India, stating a primary reason was the country's import of Russian oil, and outlined that both Russia and importers of Russian energy could face sanctions or tariffs. The weekend's OPEC Plus meeting production increases were widely considered to have already been priced in. Gold prices climbed 0.8% after spending most of the week in the red, but pushed higher on much weaker than expected non-farm payrolls data on Friday, with the markets now confidently pricing in a Fed rate cut at September's meeting. Gold prices were also underpinned by ongoing trade uncertainty, particularly relating to next week's deadline for Russia and potential oil tariffs or sanctions. Wheat prices declined by 3.8% last week, with the commodity hitting a more than 2-month low. The U.S. Department of Agriculture outlined that global production will remain high amid bearish sentiment in the markets. Major importer China also reduced purchases due to stronger domestic harvests, while Canadian and EU forecasts anticipated expanded output in both markets due to higher crop output. The USD-JPY pair turned 0.27% lower, pulling back sharply on Friday after hitting a 4-month high. A key factor was last week's Bank of Japan decision to keep interest rates at 0.5%, while increasing its inflation forecast to 2.7%. The safe haven yen also saw some demand after a strong earthquake and combined tsunami warnings. Weaker data in the U.S. on Friday also pressured the pair.